The holidays, they're supposed to be all about joy, right? But for many of us, they can also bring this quiet, kind of frustrating challenge. Maybe you've seen it, an older loved one who suddenly just withdraws. Or they struggle with a simple choice that, they could have easily made last year. In this explainer, we're going to dig into why this happens, and more importantly, what we can actually do to help.
Let me paint a picture for you that really captures this. Imagine a woman, we'll call her Mrs. L, standing in a store and she's just surrounded by this wall of festive gift wrap. You've got red, green, glittery ones, plain ones. Her daughter is trying to help, but with every suggestion, the options just seem to pile up. And finally, she just gets completely overwhelmed, whispers, I don't know, and walks away totally defeated. That right there, that's the exact experience we're talking about.
And when you see something like that, it's so easy to feel frustrated, right? Maybe a little confused or even hurt. You might be thinking, why are they being so difficult all of a sudden? But what if it isn't defiance? What if it's not stubbornness at all? What if there's something else going on deep inside the brain?
So, that's the mystery we're going to crack right now. We're going to uncover the real reason behind this kind of holiday withdrawal. We're going to move past all those common assumptions to find a much more compassionate and, frankly, a much more helpful way to understand it.
Okay, so here's where we get a total mind shift. Look at this. On the left, you've got what it looks like to us, stubbornness, maybe even laziness or defiance. But now look at the right. That's what's really happening. It's cognitive overload. The brain is literally signaling, this is too much. It's a self-protective move, not a bad attitude.
And yeah, there's actually a name for this whole thing. It's called decision fatigue. It's a very real state where the brain gets so overloaded from making too many choices that it just runs out of gas. And the result? Withdrawal, avoidance, a complete shutdown where making any decision at all feels absolutely impossible.
So what is it about the holidays specifically that creates this perfect storm for decision fatigue, especially for older adults? Well, let's get into the science of what's actually happening in the brain.
Think about it. Our brains run on a kind of mental energy, right? And the holidays just drain that battery like crazy. I mean, look at this list. You've got tons of options hitting you at once. Gifts, food, decorations. You're not even sure where to start. Then there's that social pressure to make the perfect choice, plus all the constant interruptions. It all adds up, and suddenly even a simple familiar task like wrapping a gift turns into this exhausting micro-marathon.
All right, so we get the why now. But what does this actually look like in real life? How can you spot decision fatigue when it's happening? Because knowing the signs, that's the absolute first step to being able to help in a meaningful way.
If you start hearing that, I don't know, on repeat, or you notice that a task they started is just left half done, that's a major clue. Avoiding things they used to enjoy like shopping or cooking or constantly asking you to decide for them, these are not signs they don't care. They are self-protective responses. They're trying to conserve what little mental energy they have left by retreating to a quiet space. And this brings us to the most important part of this whole explainer. Because knowing what's going on is one thing, but knowing how you can actually help, well, that's what truly matters. And there are some really simple, practical things you can do that make a huge, huge difference.
So here are 5 super practical strategies that can change everything. You can see how they kind of build on each other. We start by just limiting the options, then we break the decision down into smaller steps, maybe use some visual aids, and crucially, allow plenty of time. And finally, and this one is so important, we validate their effort. Let's see what that actually looks like.
Let's take that first strategy, limit options, and see it in action. It's so simple, but so powerful. So instead of that big open-ended question, which paper do you want, which could mean dozens of choices, you just narrow it down. Do you want to wrap in the red paper or the green paper? See that? That one simple change turns an overwhelming task into a clear, manageable choice.
Okay, but here's a really, really important point. We have to be careful here. The goal is not to take over and just remove all their choices. That just takes away their sense of autonomy, their control. The goal is to offer guided choices. You're reducing the options down to a manageable 2 or 3, but you're always leaving the final decision in their hands. You're the co-pilot, not the pilot.
So what this all boils down to, really, is this incredibly powerful idea. Just focusing on one small, manageable choice at a time. It's about rebuilding that sense of confidence and finding those little moments of joy and connection, even in the middle of all the holiday chaos. And that's it. That's the heart of the matter right there. When we see someone like Mrs. L struggling in that aisle, our goal shouldn't just be to get the gifts wrapped. It should be to help her feel in control again.
Every small, successful decision, red or green, this bow or that one, it rebuilds that confidence. Control, just like joy, can be nurtured, one small decision at a time.
So I want to leave you with a question to carry with you this holiday season. When you see a loved one start to get that overwhelmed look in their eyes, how will you step in, not to take over, but to help nurture one small, powerful choice?